If right now your content creation feels like it takes hours out of your life, this video is for you. I mean, there's a lot that you have to think about when it comes to content creation. You got to pick your ideas. You've got to organize said ideas. You have to choose your SEO if you're blogging or using YouTube. You've got to create the content, record it, write it, schedule it, edit it, make graphics. I get it. I 100% get why content creation feels overwhelming. But there is a strategy that I'm going to teach you today that is going to save you hours every single week when it comes to your content creation. Welcome to 2022. This is the very first video that I'm recording in the new year, and I am so excited and honored to be here. My name's Michelle Knight. I'm the founder and CEO of Brandmerry.com, and right here on this channel with new videos every single Monday, we are sharing branding and marketing tips to help you create more income and impact. And in today's video, we are talking about content creation. This is my sweet spot. This is something that I absolutely love doing. I have a lot of strategies up my sleeve, and I'm going to share some of those with you today. I've got 6 strategies for you today to help you save hours every single week with your content creation. And like with all things here at Brandmerry, we're not going to waste time on the fluff. We're going to get right into it. Let's dive into my very first tip, which is to have a clear content strategy. Now, it is not enough for you to willy-nilly be creating content and posting and kind of flying by the seat of your pants. Honestly, that's probably taking the most time out of your schedule. And so having a clear content strategy is incredibly important. At this point, what I want you to think about is where you are showing up. You do not have to be everywhere on every single platform. In fact, I don't recommend that at all. But you want to be really strategic with where you are showing up. Some things to consider are, where is my audience? What type of content do I like to create? I meaning you. Is it video? Do you enjoy writing? Do you enjoy recording yourself as podcasting? Do you love making reels or TikToks? Do you enjoy posting on social media? That's going to be the easiest way for you to create content when it feels good to you. You also want to think about the type of content that your audience is consuming. So not only do we need to think about the specific platform and what you like to create, but of that bucket, what is your audience consuming the most of? Now, maybe you don't have this information right out of the gate, but this is something that I want you to pay attention to kind of streamline your content strategy. So is your audience watching YouTube videos? Do they prefer short little snippets of videos on Instagram? Is your audience reading blogs? Most audiences still are. Is your audience really utilizing Google? Do they listen to podcasts? What do we know about your specific audience that is going to help you streamline your content strategy? This is incredibly important because I want you to have a clear base of this is where I'm showing up and this is the type of content that I'm creating. The next thing I want you to do is create a repurposing workflow. Everyone raise your hand if you've heard me say this before. I talk about it quite often over here at Brandmerry. It's one of the core pillars inside of my membership, Brandmerry Academy, and I broke down that entire process in this video right here. I share with you the step-by-step of creating a repurposing workflow. So definitely make sure you watch that video. But for our purposes today, let's talk about a bird's eye view of a repurposing workflow. The idea here is that you take the platforms that you've chosen to show up on and you think of how you can repurpose your content on each of those platforms. So for instance, you're not creating videos and then creating a completely different blog on a different subject and showing up on social media every day talking about something different. That again is wasting your precious time. One of the best things that you can do as a business owner is repeat yourself. It's through the repetition that really builds that brand authority and that expertise and why individuals will continue to follow you, invest in your products and your services, and tell their friends about what it is that you do. So with this repurposing plan, which again, I talk about in this video right here, you want to figure out how you can create one core piece of content. Maybe it's a video like this one, and then repurpose that piece of content onto multiple platforms. This is going to save you a bunch of time because of two reasons. Number one, you're able to utilize repurposing, transcribing this video, create social media posts, taking the audio and turning it into a podcast, whatever that looks like for you. And that's going to save you a lot of time because you ultimately don't have to create as much new content every single week. My clients who have a very clear repurposing workflow typically create one core piece of content every week, and then they push that out in various ways onto different platforms. The other way this is going to save you time and energy is that you can repeat this workflow every single week. So what I recommend you do is you take this weekly workflow and you put it into a task management software. We like to use ClickUp, but you can also use Asana or any other task management software that you prefer, and set it to repeat every single week. This is really going to take the guesswork out of what you should be doing in order to create content, which is going to save you a ton of time. The third tip that I have for you today is to choose one period of time every 90 days to plan your content. So one of the things that I think takes entrepreneurs so much time is they'll sit down to write their content or record their content, and they're also sitting down to then think about what they're going to talk about. So they're switching gears back and forth. Okay, let me do my research on my ideas. Now I got to go ahead and create it. Now I have to create graphics. And it's this switching back and forth that can really waste a ton of time. So I recommend that you map out 90 days worth of content at a time. What I mean by map out is not create, but choose your core topic. Remember back to the repurposing tip that I just shared? There's one core piece of content that you're creating every week, and then you're repurposing it to push out to multiple platforms. So if you're planning 90 days worth of content, you're choosing 12 topics. 12 weeks. So it shouldn't take you that long, but what you're able to do is maybe carve out 3 hours at the beginning of the month to sit down, finalize all of those topics, and then walk away from it. So when you revisit and actually create the content, you don't have to think about what you're going to talk about. You can just dive right into creating it. My fourth time-saving tip for you is to have a content creation day. Yay for batch scheduling. Yay for batch recording. In fact, this video that I'm recording for you right now is one of 4 videos that I will be recording for an entire month. This is a fantastic way to save time and energy. Now, I'm not suggesting that you create 30 days worth of content in one day. I've been doing this for a long time. I have a very refined system. But when I was first starting out, and what most of my clients do inside of Brandmerry Academy, is they choose one day a week that is dedicated to content creation. Now, based on your schedule, you want to choose the day that works best for you. When I was first starting, it was Sunday because I worked a full-time job, and Sunday my husband was home, so I could create content on Sunday. Once I left my 9-to-5, I was able to create content on Monday because I had my mother-in-law taking care of my son. So you want to pick a day that works best for your schedule. Best if it can be repeated on the same day every week, because that's going to help you get into that habit. And it's just going to really, like, if you know you're going to create content on a Monday, Sunday, you're already kind of like revving yourself up to do that. And it just really, really helps with your workflow. So try and pick a day every week where you can carve out 2 to 3 hours and get that on your calendar right now. Honor that time. Don't schedule anything else during that time. Really just focus on your content creation for that week. My 5th tip for you kind of falls in line with the last one. On that content creation day, I encourage you to group like tasks together. So what I mean by this is don't try and, write a blog and then hop over and create your graphics for that blog and then jump back and edit it and then go ahead and schedule it and then switch to scheduling your graphics and then go back to this. Try not to jump from one core task to another. Really group them together. So for instance, if you're creating content once a week, then you would sit down and you would do all your writing in one chunk. You would write your blog or write your script for your video and write anything else that you need to do. Maybe it's the social media post. Maybe it's the email you're going to send. So you're doing all of your writing during one chunk of time. Then you can switch gears. Maybe then you decide you're going to create your graphics, right? We're using a different part of our brain. You're gonna go ahead and create your graphics. So you're gonna sit down, you're gonna create all of the graphics that you need for that piece of content. Maybe it's a thumbnail for your YouTube video. Maybe it's a Pinterest image for your blog, your social media content that you're going to be doing. You're creating all your graphics in one chunk of time. Then you're moving into the third phase, which is going to be scheduling your content. More on that in a minute. But what you want to do is you, again, want to make sure you're not hopping back and forth. This is such a time suck. You want to make sure that you're really grouping them together. If you are doing something like batch creating content for 30 days or 90 days, like I do, and I talk about in this video right here, you want to really group together your full days. So for instance, I will record a bunch of YouTube videos on one day. Today is that day. Then I might choose another day to record podcasts. And then I might choose another day to create graphics, so on and so forth. So really grouping these tasks together is such a fantastic way to focus in on what you're doing and not distract yourself. And then that leads me to my last tip, which is scheduling. And this needed its own little pocket of time from me. Please schedule in advance your content. I know, there are so many tips and tricks to getting your stuff seen, and they tell you maybe not schedule it because you won't get as much of a reach. But listen, if you're already strapped for time, if you're already really struggling to streamline your process, you're just contributing to that overwhelm by having to post things in real time. I'd rather you start scheduling and consistently show up and start to, streamline your process and spend less and less and less time on creation than not post at all. We know consistency is important. We know content creation is important at every single stage of the buying process. And so if scheduling your content is going to help you actually post your content, then please do it. You can pretty much schedule anything except for Instagram Reels. But I got a fun strategy for that in just a sec. So you can schedule your blog posts, schedule your emails, schedule all of your social media content. If you're using carousels on Instagram or Facebook, you can schedule those in advance inside of the Creator Studio. So that's a fantastic tip for you. You can schedule your Pinterest posts. You can pretty much schedule anything. Again, you can't schedule Reels just yet, but a tip that I have is after you batch create them and download them to your phone so they don't get deleted, go ahead and just save them as a draft. So then you can put a little reminder in your task management or on your phone to just go in and hit publish when the time is ready. Everything's already in there. So scheduling is going to be a fantastic way to save you time and energy. And please do it if you find that you're not consistently showing up, because that is more important than maybe the 1% boost that it's going to give you on said platform. As you can see, there's a real benefit to having systems in place for your business. And I want you to remember that you are going to refine your system as you go. And the more that you actually implement the system that you have in place, the more you'll notice that it's taking you less and less time. This happens very often with my clients, and it happened in my own business as well, where it would feel like it took me still a lot of time to implement a system. Maybe it was taking me 4 hours to create everything and schedule it all. But then as I kept doing this week after week after week, I noticed that it was taking me less and less time. And that's just like anything, right? You have to build up that muscle. But having these systems in place is going to help you. It's going to support you in saving hours every single week with your content creation. So again, this is something that we teach inside of my community, Brandmerry Academy. This membership is all about marketing without relying on social media. If you want to learn more, you can go to brandmerryacademy.com or click the link below for some details. Join the waitlist and be the first to know when doors open again. Next week, I'm going to share a follow-up video on some more of my content creation tips. So be sure to tune in next Monday, and I will see you there.